years old. His name was Louis. Then in 1934, they had a beautiful baby girl, and they named her Anna Mae. And Louis just loved his little sister. When Anna Mae was 5 years old, her father had a stroke, and they took him to the Marine Hospital in the Portland area in Louisville, Kentucky. He was there for 6 weeks and then passed away. When only 6 years later, Anna Mae was 11 years old. Her mother had been suffering from cancer for years, and she passed away. So her father's half-brother and his wife took the children in, which they were very fond of them before this anyway. So they took them, and it was their forever home. Did I say their name? I forgot. Wilbur and Fairy Loftus. So everything was good then. And Anna Mae, she was a very spirited girl. She had finished her high school here in New Albany and 1 year of college at the IUS Southeast in Jeffersonville, Indiana. And it was located on the corner of Spring Street and Court Avenue. But she wanted to spread her wings and fly, so she wanted to go away to Bloomington to Indiana University to finish her college education. So she had taken some, or was going to take some early classes before college started, so she wanted to throw herself a farewell party for her friends and family. So in the spring of 51, she had the party. And in those days, homes had no air conditioning. And it had been very hot the night before, and Anna Mae was complaining about a terrible headache. And her brother's fiance at that time wanted Anna Mae to cancel the party then, and Anna Mae said, "No, I'm going on with the party." So she did go on, and she was showing some of her textbooks that she had already received because she was taking the early classes in the late summer. Then around 9 o'clock, the headache was so terribly painful that Trudy and her Aunt Fairy was home at that time, stopped the party immediately. And they called Dr. Sloan, and he was there within a half an hour and examined Anna Mae and determined that she did have polio. By midnight, paralysis had already started to set in. Now, Anna Mae, only being 17, was eligible to go to the Children's Hospital, and the closest one was Cosair's Children's Hospital in Louisville, which they wanted to take her there. But because the polio epidemic was so bad, you were not allowed to cross the state line. So the next closest hospital for them to take her was in Indianapolis at the Riley's Children's Hospital. So in those days, we didn't have the interstates where you could drive 60, 70, 80 miles an hour, whatever you want to drive. So it took them about 3.5 to 4 hours to get there. By the time they got to the Riley's Children's Hospital, she was totally paralyzed from the neck down and could not breathe. So they gave her a tracheotomy and put her in an iron lung. They got her stabilized and then transferred her to the Robert Long Hospital, which is also in Indianapolis, because they were better equipped to take care of her. There, they examined her and got her stabilized more, and then they put her in what was called a rocking bed. And that actually, when you when the bed tilted back, you would inhale, and then it would rock forward, and you would exhale. It would push the air in and out of the body. And without the bed, you would die. That's the only thing that would keep you alive. So she was there, and she got better. Finally, in 1954, her and her roommate Carmen, because at that time they would just put male, female together in this situation. They were in the same room. They were both stabilized enough that they could go outside the first time. And I have a picture over here of them outside. Then later in 1954, her brother came to see her brother Lewis. He had been drafted in the Army and they were sending him to Germany. And this was the last time they would ever see each other again. Later that year, she was transferred. Her and Carmen both were brought back with an Indiana State Police escort from Indianapolis back to New Albany. They brought them to the Turley Nursing Home, where they had to, these beds were so heavy that they had to reinforce the floors, and the reinforcements are still in the house today. Previously, it had been the Victor A. Pippin Home, and it's at 1003 East Main Street. Then, exactly 1 day, 1 month and 1 day after her, 1 month after they'd come back to the nursing home to New Albany, and 1 day after her 21st birthday at 2 a.m., Anna Mae passed away. Now, Anna Mae was so young, the family had no plots for her, and she had no parents left, and so she is buried right up the hill here in a cousin of hers, the Hoffman family, and she's buried in the grave with her cousin.
No further questions. Vaccine's been prepared. It's a simple sugar cube. Take those,
so you won't get ill.
and then you just watch your newspapers for the next time for that event.
Anybody want a sugar cube? Brings back memories. Oh yeah.